Hey, it's James, Fathers, Rights, and Resources with the hashtag HowiGotCustody. I use that hashtag because I share everything that I know with everybody about how I actually got full custody of my daughter when she was 7 months old, and I didn't have an attorney, and I was facing an attorney with 17 years experience, and I was facing a guardian ad litem who hated my guts and wrote reports against me and was pro-mother and anti-father. Now on this page you will see packets of documents that I actually used to win and that I've supplemented and added information to and tweaked in the way that I would write them if I was still in court today, because I've accumulated all kinds of knowledge since 2001 over and over again, dealing with people, working with attorneys, working at a couple different law firms, working with attorneys on an individual basis. So there's packets of several different categories, and if somebody wants to suggest a category, you can do that, and I could probably assemble and make a category out of something that I haven't covered yet. But the first set of packets are free documents, which are actual proof that I won in court. My parenting plan, which has my signature showing I represented myself, the mother, the guardian ad litem, and the mother's attorney signature who has 17 years of experience. Those are three enemies that I have that I overcame and I got full custody. Then I have a court order of me winning my first attempt at a contempt motion. A lot of lawyers out there tell dads don't even try and do contempt. I won my first contempt, got makeup time, got the mother sanctioned $250, and then that put my case over the hump. And so here's an actual court order of me winning contempt. And I have people ask, oh, can I do contempt? Or my attorney said, don't even try. Well, here's proof that I won my first attempt at contempt motion, like many other dads I've dealt with, without an attorney, and beat up on the mother and her 17-year. I really embarrassed them in court. Then there's my winning reversal in the Court of Appeals, which is actually can be found online also. Then I have an order granting discretionary review in the Court of Appeals, which is harder than an appeal. And most attorneys don't even try and do the Court of Appeals, especially in family court, because these family law attorneys are practicing Mickey Mouse law and they don't know how to practice real law, so they focus on family law, which gives you the forms and is user-friendly for people representing themselves. If it's user-friendly in a lot of states for people representing themselves, what does that speak to about the attorneys? I know thousands of people who have done this stuff on their own without a lawyer successfully. I did it when I was a warehouse worker who flunked out of college, and I beat up on an attorney with 17 years experience. And then I beat up on an attorney who came on board with 37 years experience, and he ended up finishing the case and quitting and retiring after 50 years. And I beat him up. Those two Court of Appeals wins were against the attorney who eventually had 50 years experience. I also have an order of me defending myself against a contempt that the mother tried, and winning that. And also they tried to get a restraining order in there. The mother tried 7 different times to get restraining orders against me. So speaking of that, on to my documents. There's packets of, number one, me defending against a restraining order. I've also thrown in the knowledge I've accumulated over the years and citing quotes from lawyers, from judges, from entire bar associations. There's 2 state bar associations who've written how restraining orders are used and abused for leverage and custody battles. All of that detail is in my packet and arguments for defending against a restraining order. So just my notes alone are way more costly than the cost of the packet itself. But I actually have an entire argument and defense against it. Now, if you wanted to glean off of that or use that, you'd have to tweak it according to your situation, your facts, and your state's laws, of course. But just the formatting and the template and the spirit of how I argue and the wording that I use alone, or the data I use alone, where I cite like 25, 30 different resources that say restraining orders are usually bogus. That alone is worth the cost of the packet. Then I have a sample of parenting plans. People write up parenting plans vaguely and don't cover every single detail, any possible problems with parenting plans in the future, and there's conflict in the future. I have defending a restraining order and get on the offensive with a restraining order. I have my appeals packet and a trial packet, which they're both a little more expensive because writing a brief in the Court of Appeals is like writing a book. And a trial packet includes trial briefs samples with a lot of arguments in there, along with an exhibit list, a witness list, an ER 904 motion, or ER 904 if you're in Washington State, and all the details that somebody needs to prepare their trial notebook. Now, I was going to trial in my own case on a relocation, and I had 5 binders that were 3 inches thick, and actually one is right here. It's about 2.5 to 3 inches thick. Here's volume 3 of 5. So this binder has, you know, a bunch of exhibits that are tabbed. You can see the tab numbers there. I kind of made up my own thing when I was doing it on my own. And I had about 300 exhibits that I was going to bring to trial. The mother quit and bailed because she didn't plan on going to trial, but I got ready for trial. So I had 5 notebooks like that. So I have pictures of notebooks, what they're supposed to look like, witness list, exhibit list, trial brief, and samples of what the final product should be in preparation for trial. Now, I'm going to be doing a whole video on trial prep that would be less costly than doing several consultations with me, and I share a bunch of information on there. But the packet is the written part. The how-to and step-by-step, and how I learned how to prep for my own trial and get ready for my own trial, that would be in the video, or that could be done through one-on-one consultations. So each packet that's titled contempt, trial, parenting plans, restraining orders, defending this, defending that, I have packets of winning documents that actually work for me, and you see winning documents at the top. Nobody else out there is doing this. Nobody else out there is sharing how they won in court without a lawyer, and also giving people an opportunity to purchase packages of things that they use to win. And this also includes my accumulation of notes over the years, working with attorneys, working at 2 different law firms. I've done contract work with several attorneys on individual basis, and working with thousands of parents, mothers, and fathers who had to deal with these type of things. And I've accumulated and put my notes in there. So on top of an actual full-blown brief or motion in the packet, you will also see just some notes or accumulation of notes that you can copy and paste and do a Google search and do a more elaborate search if you want, or just glean off of those notes, or just get even like the guardian ad litem packet where I'm attacking a guardian ad litem. Every time they file something, I'm countering it. If a guardian ad litem, I've had 2 different guardian ad litems who every single report was against me and for the mother. The guardian ad litem even defended the mother when I won contempt. The court didn't listen to her because my briefing was done so well. My argument was so good in court, and I made the mother look stupid. So every time a guardian ad litem or independent investigator, third party, CASA worker, anybody else, CPS comes in and writes a report, I would counter that. I don't, even if there's a hearing 3 months down the road, if they file something that talks bad about me, I'm countering and pointing out every single lie, bit by bit, every single sentence that's not true. I'm picking it apart. I'm not sitting back and letting somebody slander me and lie about me in court and file paperwork like that. So I'm picking it apart. That's what my guardian ad litem packet is about. That's what all my packets are about. Getting on the attack and picking apart everything the other side does, and getting on the offensive and advocate and zealously advocating for myself, just like the mother or the father or the opposing party zealously advocates for their clients against you. I zealously advocate for myself, and I write and counter every single lie and get on the offensive. And that's what these packets are all about. And any of these packets would cost, the cheapest packet with the minimum amount of information is my declaration packet, where I have declaration templates if somebody's going to type up a declaration, if they're going to handwrite it because they don't like to type, or if a professional is going to write a letter, there's a cover sheet. Or the packet of demand letters, where I've written demands to an attorney to light a fire under his butt if they're not representing me properly. I've written many of those. Demand letters to schools for not giving me access to my kid or handing over documents and records. Demand letter to medical facilities that won't hand over records. Those two of the cheaper packets, those are worth $1,000 if you have an attorney do those things or put those things together or set those things up. So these are all a steal, just like my consultations are a steal, because I'm sharing with people stuff that your attorney won't even tell you. But if they did tell it to you, it would cost you thousands of dollars to do so. So thanks for visiting my store. Check it out, and check out my winning documents that prove that I actually won in court, because you shouldn't believe me just because I say something and it sounds good. You shouldn't believe a lawyer or a used car salesman just because they sound good. Make them show you the Carfax. Make them show you their record of winning in court. I'm showing you my record, and I'm also providing you with information that I used to get there. Now, there's a little bit of level of trust because you haven't seen the paperwork until you purchase it, but who else is showing their winning court documents? How many attorneys are even if you're a father who's going for full custody, do you know how many dads they've helped get full custody? Most of the time, fathers don't even ask that question. I've never seen an attorney who's worked with or helped 10 dads get full custody in a contested case where there's a fight. When the mother agrees, then she was going to agree anyway. I've stopped counting at 200 the number of male clients that I had that got full custody without a lawyer. Some went all the way to trial and put on their own trial for 2, 3, 4 days using some of the products that I'm talking about. I'm showing you my winning documents of me actually winning in court and backing up what I'm saying. So thanks for visiting my store. Check out the winning documents, and if you want any of the packets, please have at it. It's all for you guys and to give you some resources that you're probably not going to get anywhere else, and you're definitely not going to get help from these attorneys who are just there to make money and to pass the time and bill you for every single email, phone call, while they don't fight diligently for you.